Here I'm going to walk through how to create custom workflows using Watson Content Hub webhooks. So a custom workflow around a CMS like Watson Content Hub is the ability to hook into or to create a workflow such as an approval workflow or expiry or translation to add stages and to create actions when those stages are entered. So, for example, when the content enters the approval stage, send an email to the approver, or when the content enters a stage at which it needs to be translated, create a Trello card so that the translators can go off and do their job. Or when content needs to be expired, then again create a card or a Slack notification for someone to go off and pull the content down from the website and update the page to point at different content or whatever it might be. So those workflows can often be very kind of open-ended and involve lots of different notification systems and lots of different actors and potentially lots of different integration systems. Like for your translation, you want the translators are working in a different system. For approval, the users might be looking at a different channel. Like they might be looking at the mobile app or whatever it might be to make that approval to say that it's all good. So Webhooks allows you to create that workflow because events are being generated out of Content Hub. And we have a REST API so that you can send things in the other way. So, for example, when your translator's finished, it could also create the translated item within Content Hub. So how do you make this all happen? So there's you need a webhook consumer, and if you want to do something quite elaborate with custom code, then that can be something like a cloud provider, like the IBM Cloud. So you might have a Node app that's running there that's coordinating all of the webhooks and the API request between all those different systems. At the other end, the simplest thing you can do is Zapier, which is a no-code, low-code, UI-based system for integrating webhooks and other systems. There's a few out there, but Zapier is the easiest one to get started because it's got a free trial and it's very UI-based. It's intended to have very, very little code required. So that's what these samples are based on. So let's walk through a few of those samples that we put together. As it says in here, in this repo here with all the examples in it, you can do pretty much anything by connecting anything to anything. And there's lots of ideas in there, right? But let's show some things working. So we can create a Slack notification when items are updated. Let's walk through that. So the first thing I do is I go into the Content Hub here, and a note on turning on the Webhooks UI from within the Content Hub. You have to go into the ribbon configuration here and switch on the Webhooks UI because it's not enabled by default, and you have to be an admin on the hub in order to do that. When you do that, you get this UI up here. You can add new webhooks. You can select the events, the filters here, right? So this is the URL it's going to send to. You can filter by what type of event or what item type or what status or the tags on the item to determine in what events get sent to your webhook consumer. The secret is kind of optional. That's a bit more advanced. We don't need to touch on that right now. So these are the webhooks I've got set up in the hub right now. This first one I mentioned is for I will send a when a review is created, I'll send to this Zapier webhook, and that will cause an email to be sent to the approver of that review. When a content is created with the tag translate on it, I'll send that to Zapier here, and that will create a Trello card for the translation to happen, to tell the translator the translation needs to happen. And the last one is I'm literally sending every single event possible to Slack via Zapier. Most likely you'd want to select some events there, but that's just for demonstration purposes. Maybe let's start with the bottom one, right? So we start with Slack. This is now going into the Zapier UI here. Your Zapier has your Zap has various stages in it, so they all start with a catch stage. Obviously I've created this before, but all the information on how to do that is in the repo there. So it's catching a hook URL, which is what I had in the Content Hub UI there. It's running some JavaScript, really simple JavaScript here to just convert the incoming event, pull out some interesting information and put it in a format, a JSON format that Slack understands, and then it is sending a request out to my my Slack app, which is also very easy to create in your Slack installation, and there's information in the repo on how to do that. So it sends a JSON to Slack, and I can demo that very quickly. I just go and create some content. So I'll go into the content view, compose a new article, my test for Slack. Clearly I could fill in for more information there, and then I go and find the right channel. So my Slack app is set up to, I'm going to get the right channel, here we are, to point at a particular channel, and there's my Slack notification. You could have lots more information in there. You can have actions that call back to, like, create an approval or whatever. This is just a simple example to get started.